Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. This episode is brought by our friends Dragon Energy, Canada's new energy drink, and you can check them out on Instagram at Dragon Energy Canada and on Facebook. And my guest today is Pasha Ebrahimi, and I said this before we came on. Thank you for launching my career, really. Right, like, Drown the Lovers took just this obscure immigrant that moved to Canada and said he wanted to make film to be someone that, you know, is being commissioned by the Arts Gallery of Nova Scotia to make a film about Walter Ostrom. So thank you.
Again, you no need to thank me. That's overly generous of you. I appreciate you saying that, and it was my pleasure to be a part of it.
No, so what happened was I moved to Canada. I was like, I always wanted to make a film. And then I did something and it was okay. And someone led me to AFCOOP. And AFCOOP has a Film 5 program,
right,
which is really respected here. So, but in the process, I remember watching Luke's film, Lord of Chaos, and I saw you. And Luke, the film is really, really personal. And, you know, just a brief thing is about a soldier that is going through PTSD,
yes,
essentially. And, like, there's this monster. And, you know, basically, he's a medic, right?
That's correct.
He's a medic, and then he goes to buy meat. But, like, you know, while he's buying the meat, he's, like, back at the war front. And then he's with his friends. And everyone is talking, but he's not there. And, like, you play this character. Actually, let's talk about that character. Like, how did you get to that place? Like, well, have you been in the army before? Or?
Actually, I do have a military background. Years ago, I went out of high school. I did 1 year of university and decided it wasn't for me, and decided to join the military. I didn't go into the Canadian military. I wanted to go to an as extreme as possible military organization as I could.
Which was what?
I made the decision then between the United States Marine Corps, because I had family in the States, and I was under the age of 18, I believe it is, where you can still, if you have family, you can apply. And it was either that, United States Marine Corps, or the French Foreign Legion.
That's crazy. That's the crazy people's one. That's the, like, go and do whatever in the fucking desert one, right?
I'm not discounting my mental stability when I was 18. I'm sure we've all done crazy things when we were that age, and that happened to be mine.
Wait, you went to the French Legion?
Yes.
You went to Pasha? What the hell?
I thought I mentioned that to you.
No.
No? Right. Yes, I was in the French Foreign Legion.
That is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. Like, the train, like, you know, because I like reading obscure things. Their training is insane.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's all about weeding out undesirables in what they term as undesirables. And thankfully, you have to go through the training phase first before you sign your 5-year contract, because then they own your ass, and that's it.
Holy shit, it's 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna, why did you decide to go, like, you're like, I'm not jumping in 5 feet, I'm going 30 feet. Why?
Go big or go home, man.
Well, so like, did you apply any of the experience when you're playing this character?
Absolutely. I mean, I've talked to Mark DeVoe, who was the creature effects designer on the film, and who was actually a military medic, a Canadian military medic in real life, and served in Afghanistan. So it was very important to me for it to be as authentic as possible, and to serve every individual who has gone through that, and make certain that, you know, that they felt that what they saw on screen rang true. When we screened it at the Atlantic Film Festival, Mark had some of his former comrades, men that he had served with, and women, if I'm not mistaken, come in and watch it. And the best part of that was the fact that afterwards they came up to me and, said their piece and shook my hand. And it felt very gratifying to know that they were happy with what they saw on screen. Perhaps happy isn't isn't the proper choice of words.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was a really, really tough character. So I remember watching that and I was like, I need that person in anything I'm doing. And then I was lucky. It's true. I was lucky enough to have Luke as my first AD, and it was like, so you get to have all these meetings, and I'm meeting Luke, and Luke is like, so do you have any actors in mind? I was like, well, go big or go home. So I said, remember that your film is like, yeah, that guy. So, that guy's like, oh man, he's in Vancouver now. I'm like, you've done lots of stuff. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get this guy? So Luke is like, you know what? Just send him an email. I'll give you his email. Just send him a message. You see what he says. I was like, whatever, okay. So I'm like, listen, you don't know me. I've not really done anything. But, I have this film and it's like really personal to me. And, it talks about mental health, but not really because my thing is I don't want to slam your head with what I'm talking about.
Right.
So I said, I'm using a sci-fi veneer to talk about mental health and medication. And there might be other ways of taking care of this. And this is my film and this is my script. And I know you're in Vancouver, and because you were working on something at that period.
I was. I'm trying to recall.
Yeah, it was like a
at the
TV
time.
show, something.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it was. Thankfully, Vancouver has been good to me professionally.
Yeah.
It's I've gotten to work on a lot of different shows.
Yeah. It was a TV show, but I can't remember the name now. So I know you're working on this thing, but just check it out. It wasn't long after I get it. Replies like, oh man, I love the script. Here's my number. Let's talk. I was like, okay, what am I gonna say? And I'm like, I think it took 3 or 4 days before I made that call. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna say? Anyway, I called. And you're like, so yourself, really? Just like, I like the script, and like, are you gonna direct it? I'm like, yeah, I wrote it. We talked about it. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, by the way, there's no fucking money. So it's like film 5, they give you small, tiny money, but all the money is going. I was like, you know what? I think you had just this little short window. And you said, if you can get me to Halifax, I'll do it. I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. So, we had to look at our budget, and Monica, my wife.
Right.
She's producing, and we had to look, okay, we can cut this, but we had to add some money. And then we got the ticket, sent it, and you came 2 days before we shot. I was like, oh, what are we gonna do? And I cast everyone. I was like, I just need to meet, because you had to play opposite Amy Treffry, who's a fucking terrific actor. So
she's been getting better ever since I first worked with her. So,
right, she's amazing. So and I was like, okay, so we have kind of 2 days before we shoot. I was like, cool. First rehearsal was at my house, and you know what? And one thing I've learned is I'm always kind of try to be in a room where I'm the dumbest person, because I want to learn from everybody. So when I'm there, I'm like, okay, this person is great at this, and this person is great at this, and so I'm just going to soak everything. And you're like, okay. But when you talked about this character, it's like, holy shit, are you living in my head? Because you saw who this guy was. You understood what he was dealing with, right? And Drown the Lovers is about this guy. He's the leader of this, and the thing is, it was also great. There's no really good or bad. Everyone has things they're doing. I was like, he's doing his job. He really believes in his job. He killed his sister, and now he's having emotions. And you had to play this, and you're... Anyway, I was like, I get it. I remember, we're reading... You and Treffry were reading.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, can we shoot this? I was like, can we shoot this? And then when and then you had that uniform on, and it's like what I saw in my head, And I remember on the day of the shoot, the buttons were actually missing. The buttons,
That's right. They were missing. Yeah.
So we had to pause. And then you said that
about that.
first line. I remember, like, the opening shot, you just your face, and I was like, I made a fucking classic. I just knew it. Like, I just knew, okay, yeah, filmmaker now. So yeah, thank you. But like,
that's one of the longest thank yous I've ever had. So thank you for that.
no, but really, like, you read our script. Okay, actually, just walk me through your process. You get your script. How do you become that person? Because like you were this guy.
It's I mean, thank you for that first and foremost. And to go back to what you were saying earlier before I answer your question, it really makes a difference when you work with people who are genuinely interested in telling the story that they want to tell, regardless of what that story is, but there's a passion behind it. And that's one of the things that I love doing in acting, is trying to create that, like for you, what you saw when you wrote those words, and convey that across the screen and to the audience. But it becomes so much easier when you have passionate writer, passionate director, passionate cast. Like, it's to her credit, Amy, it's easy. Like you said, like we were just talking, and that's exactly what it is. It's very simple. It's it's easy to go there when you have someone who is supporting you as much as she does as an actor when you play opposite her. So for me, as far as a process goes, reading the script is first and foremost the most important part. And then once you grasp the full story, and I think we had a couple of discussions about it, in regards to the character's mindset, his background, where he comes from before the story starts, all of that, just to create a more full human being. Regardless of whether you see any of that or any of that comes across, I need to know that for myself personally going in, so I'm not just a two-dimensional, one-dimensional. Yeah. And aside from that, know your lines, show up on the day, and don't fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, by the way, we are shooting at night and like back to back nights.
Right.
And we had storms both nights.
We did snowstorms. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then oh man, and the first day I was just throwing you and pouring me in the water.
Which I probably shouldn't say, but I love that. So, but yeah, like
I kept tossing you guys in the water, and we used like maybe 15 seconds of this shit.
Yeah.
But like, it was really important. We had to do that, and kind of shooting it out of sequence.
Right.
You always had to turn it off and turn it on. And you did it every time consistently.
Thank you.
It's true, like, because we actually shot the death scene first.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we went right from there to you actually confronting your protege.
Right.
Right, and those are two different, states of mind for this character.
Absolutely. And that's something that in the recent film that I did, what we just finished wrapping last week. We did the entire shoot by location. So we shot out of one location, then the next one. Obviously, the scenes aren't all in order in a single location. So it's definitely something that comes up in film a lot, and you have to trust your director, so that they, especially if it's an emotional arc, that they know it as well as you do. And they will correct you if you're going too far, like that for that particular point in the story. He's not there yet. And to her credit, Juanita Peters, who was our director on this last film that I did, 837 Rebirth, she did a fantastic job. I had that conversation with her on the first day because I was nervous about it. I was nervous about it is easy for me, thankfully, to go 0 to 60 emotionally. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that right off the get-go, or be in one scene that's earlier in the film, having that kind of, degradation that should come later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked her to please be aware of that, and just slap me on the hand. Hey, Pasha, you're doing a shit job. Get it together.
Let's rewind a bit, all the way back to when did you decide you were going to be an actor?
Oh, professionally? Honestly, it didn't. Professionally, I always loved acting. Like growing up back in the old country, before we had to emigrate.
Which country was this?
This was it was Iran before it became the Islamic Republic. We were on the wrong side of the revolution. We believed in women's rights and freedom of religion, all that crazy right-wing stuff. So we got blacklisted. I remember my father's side of the family entirely blacklisted. And so it meant we had to leave. My parents made that decision for me.
How was it for you, finding out you had to leave? I'm guessing you love Iran.
Well, I mean, it was all I knew at that point. So it was, my family was still there. My mother's side of the family was there. My grandfather, who was paralyzed on the left side of his body, it's not like he could go anywhere. He was a former professor of mathematics. He just had a horrible accident. And was paralyzed, and that's how I knew him. But he and I were very close. Like as a kid, I looked up to him. He was a very loving man. But yeah, it was difficult. It didn't make any sense to me. It was our home, and these people were saying that, your neighbors can't be here. That person can't be here. Women are no longer have the same rights as men do. I was raised by a lot of strong women. My mother, her twin sister, her younger sister. My grandmother was the one who always would take care of me, and she was the one who was taking care of my grandfather, who was paralyzed. So it made no sense to me. At a very young age, it was wrong and I never mince words, and if I offend somebody, that's just the way it is. As I'm offended by people on a regular basis myself. So, but that being said, it was very difficult, and it wasn't an easy transition, and it wasn't something like, we didn't just get up and leave. We had to leave the country illegally because we weren't allowed to leave, and we ended up in Istanbul for 2 years before we were trying to apply for a green card to get into the States, where my father's father had gone. And thankfully, to the credit of the Canadian government and the immigration process, the Canadian government intervened after 2 years in Istanbul, after we had an incident with the Turkish police, because we were there illegally. They intervened and slowly started the process of, getting us into the country as legal immigrants, which, I'm thankful for to this day.
Did you move straight to Halifax?
No, we were taken to Ottawa, and we were given a choice. We being, again, my parents. I didn't really have too much input at that point, despite my protestations.
Yeah.
But no, we were given the choice between Toronto and Halifax. And in hindsight, for my career, it might have been better if I was in Toronto. but my mother loved the ocean. She was always, like, even back in Tehran, it's always been a part of her life. So she chose Halifax, and we came here. And again, it's a wonderful place. I love Halifax. Halifax will always be home for me. Yeah.
So, like, you came to Halifax, did you decide, I'm gonna go study film now, or
No. That was wow. Yeah, I guess I'm not giving you short answers, am I?
no, I love long answers.
All right,
I love
enough.
long answers.
No. Again, like I loved film, and going back to what I was saying, it was my old man used to get it was all illegal. Anything Western was propaganda. So he would get bootleg tapes for music, bootleg films, and
Your dad is so cool.
yeah, he was an all right guy. He also used to make wine and beer.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. he knew how to get around things. Yeah. So he kind of infused that mystery and that interest in me at a very young age about film and creative arts and how important they were. Music, film, literature, and how censorship is just awful and wrong. Because you don't learn, you don't, expose yourself to ideas that you may never come across.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that whenever, like, demagogues get, into position of power, they just shut down the arts.
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of like they know how powerful the arts are.
The arts are very powerful. They go hand in hand with every other aspect of human culture. Like it's, you can't have like people tout it's the sciences or, history, the arts. They all go hand in hand. Once you start picking which ones are, it becomes very, again, one-dimensional.
Yeah.
If you want a full-bodied Renaissance understanding of what it is to be a human being, then, expose yourself to that.
Yeah.
Pick up a book every now and again.
Right.
Watch a film. Listen to music. Go play some sports.
Okay, so you had this experience and exposure, but
Right.
it's one thing to watch it, it's one thing to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I loved playing around. Like I loved to play acting growing up, like most kids do. I didn't really think of it as a career until first year university, the second time around after I came back from the military.
Yeah, fucking French Legion, Pasha, man.
Yeah, so I ended up taking an overload of courses in my first year at university, and acting was one of them. And some people in the class said I should audition for the acting program. I was like, sure, why not? And I did, and I got in. So that kind of it just kind of went with the flow. And to be perfectly honest, like I really, really do enjoy it. And I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it until I started doing it more and more. And, you get in front of an audience, theater audience, it's a completely different beast than film because it's live and they're right there in the room with you. And the energy changes every night. So, yeah, that's when I started thinking about, hey, maybe I could do this and get paid to do it. And other people thought so too, so, thankfully.
So, like, did you get what was it, theater first before film? Like after you got out of school?
I started working while I was in school. I was fortunate that way, despite my professor's protestations. But yeah, no, and to their credit, I was a horror show to deal with when I was in university. Oh, just, you know how it is. Again, when I was 18, I joined the French Foreign Legion. I come back, and I was like,
I'm the badass.
I know everything. Everything there is to know. Just an idiot. Like, it was just, being contrary for the sake of being contrary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully I grew out of that. And
how did that happen? Like, was there something that particularly happened to make you, I guess, grow out of that, or was just time?
It was time. It was, you deal with a lot, like growing up in war when I was a kid, and this is not an excuse, but it's just it affects you mentally and spiritually, and then living the life of an immigrant, dealing with racism, all of that stuff. It kind of it molds your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always very defensive, and I had a bit of a temper problem when I was younger.
Oh.
So
Was that like because you felt you always had to prove something, or?
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons that linguistics is what I fell into, and I love doing different dialects. It's like, it got to the point where, again, this is something I used to say when I was younger. It was because people couldn't pronounce my name properly. It's Pasha, and they used to say Pasha, Pasha, and I again would get defensive, and I'd be like, "Listen, if I learn to speak your entire language, you can learn to pronounce my name properly."
One word, yeah.
All right, let's try it again. And again, it was a bit of a dick move, but
but on the other hand, it is true though.
But yeah,
it is true. I mean, okay, fair enough. But like, okay, so was it like film you were doing while you were in school, or?
I was doing a voiceover was the first thing that
I mean, that voice, man. Like, come on.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. Like, you can't argue with that.
I remember, this is a good story, actually. I remember doing, I ended up getting my ACTRA credits because I did the voiceover thing. I forgot what it was for. It was like some TELUS or something campaign. I'm not sure if we can actually say that on the show. But afterwards, I remember going in for an audition, and the copy read, "Want a Pasha type voice." I was like, but I'm Pasha. And I didn't get that. I didn't get that role.
What the fuck?
No, I didn't get it. I guess they didn't want. Somebody did it better than I did.
That
was very humbling. I was like, huh. So even if they want me, it doesn't mean that I'll get the job. All right.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, that's a good story. Holy shit. Yeah, that's super humbling though. Cause I didn't what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, if anything, if this business is anything, it's very humbling. Because, I think it was Mark Ruffalo said this years ago, and it always stuck with me. He was like, when he was first starting out, when he was in LA, out of 100 auditions, he would get one.
Fuck.
Right? And that's Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah,
the guy's doing all right.
Right.
Like, regardless of what you think of him as an actor, I personally like him.
He's great.
But he's doing all right. And it's just, and think of that. That's like that type of capacity for acting. He's only getting 1 out of 100.
So I mean, okay, well, you did a voiceover thing, and then when was the first screen thing?
First screen thing. That was it? Yeah, no, it was. I did it for a show which was is Canada's answer to Sex and the City. It was called G-Spot.
Oh.
And no, that comes much later in my career. I played a very mild character. I played a film director that the lead actor got to be in the show. I was a sci-fi film director.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was interesting, and I got to work with a good buddy of mine from theater school, who's passed away. So I'd like to take a second to give a shout out to Matt Amiot, wherever you are, miss you. I'm not the type of guy who says it a lot, but love you, buddy. Like wherever you are.
Yeah, that's the thing about you, actually. And I'm going to say to you, like, you play all these emotional characters, but you yourself, you're like flat. You're like flat. You're like, like, is that kind of like a wall? Like, you're holding so much, so you just like block it out, and then you take parts of you to play these characters you play?
I mean, I've never really thought of it that way. It's a combination of things. Like I mentioned that I used to have a temper problem, so I guess I like to be controlled. Is how I would term it. So it's and I've done years of martial arts and meditation, things like that that have really helped, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. But I mean, get a couple of drinks with me. Yeah.
Talking of dialects, I remember, so after we did Drown the Lovers, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go through your catalog. I watched the game.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. How did that one happen? Talk about the game.
Oh, that was actually great. I remember working with all those guys, Andrea and everyone and Glenn. It was very similar actually to Drown, because he just kind of gave me the script and he was like, "So I'm thinking of you as one of these guys." I was like, "Yeah, okay, this is." Like, and I love weird, like supernatural sci-fi, like elements, and it was so empowering for Andrea's character. It was like, and I love that the
twist
little
at the end.
the twist.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, sorry. But yeah, it's no, it was great, and she was such a trooper because she was in that cold water for.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how many days did you shoot that?
I might be mistaken. I think that's when I first met Mark DeVoe, who's who I mentioned to you earlier, who was Lord of Chaos, and he was the inspiration for the character. But I think that was 2 or 3 days. It was over a weekend.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Did the character you play have that accent in the script, or you just came up with it?
No, I just came up with it. Yeah. It was just it kind of made sense. We had fake teeth too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was the other thing. Just like Appalachian kind of hillbilly style fiends.
Yeah, it was insane. I really enjoyed watching that one. And then I thought, okay, now this one, but you were a cowboy in this one.
Right, that was another one I did with Luke.
Yeah, the one with Luke. I can't remember the title now, but that
Carter
was
Phyllis.
Yeah. I remember the title. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, right.
That's why I said that. But yeah, that was a crazy one too. You play all these characters that are so alive and so multi-layered, right? I guess people see one of like, oh, he could do that, Pasha type voice. But like when you get that script, what parts of you do you access to tap into these roles?
Honestly, it's just not, you can't put too much forethought into it. It's more emotional, less logic, more emotion. And it's the logic comes from, again, going back to what I said earlier, learning your lines. Know what you're saying. Like it's as simple as that for good acting. I think overthinking it is when you get really hammy, and I hope I haven't done that.
No.
But over the years, I mean,
I know I'm not seeing you.
It is very subjective. But it's just a matter of sure there are instances where you need to understand a more complex character, and maybe you're not familiar with them. You haven't personally gone through those things that the character has gone through, and in that case, of course, a little bit of research to make it authentic. Again, with issues of PTSD, for example, you don't just show up on the day and be like, well, this is what I think it's going to be like. Out of respect for the people who have actually gone through it. And it's one of those things where each role is unique. And I mean, it's cliche to say, but it is. Sure, day player roles, you can learn your lines. It's like, hey, I have these files for you. Now the plot can progress. Okay, I have to go. and that's it. That's all you're doing. It's
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
no forethought required. He landed on his mark. He set his lines. Great. Pay the man. Get him out of here.
Okay. But like, do you have to love these characters you play?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you love to play. Sure, you love to play bad guys. You love to play despicable characters because they're interesting to play, or you make them interesting. But no, I mean, there are characters that I like. I wouldn't go out have a drink with them or anything like that if they were a real living, breathing person. I think you love the art. You love acting, whether or it's that part of it that you love. It's becoming another person and getting that response from an audience.
I asked the wrong question. Do you empathize with the character, or do you try to understand where it's coming from?
Absolutely. You have to, in my opinion. You have to. Otherwise, again, it becomes a very flat performance. If you're playing a bad guy as a bad guy, then it's not interesting.
Because that's what stood out for me, how you're playing this guy in Drown the Lovers. I'm like, it's like you understood why he did everything he was doing. And it wasn't like wrong. It's just what he had to do.
With that in particular, it's with his character, I remember like he basically executes. He does execute his sister. And it's not an easy decision for him at the point where he is still taking the drug, which is suppressing his emotions, because it's his flesh and blood, it's his family. But for him, it's a matter of protecting the colony. It's the life of, the few to protect the many. That sort of, and again, I'm not saying that's right, but that's where he's justifying it to himself. And the justification starts to fade as his dependency on the drug does, and he's faced with the emotion of murdering his own sister and watching it over and over again and looking into her eyes as she's drowning. And that, regardless, he's not a sociopath. He's not a psychotic. So it starts to fracture him and everything that he's done. And he says that, I believe you wrote that, he says that to his wife, after what I've done. I don't deserve necessarily to get a second chance to get that redemption.
Yeah, no, that film, whew, I can still feel it. It was great. It was great working on it. And,
glad you were happy with it.
And you know what? Like, honestly, I know I said this long thank you at the beginning, but Drown the Love has now led to a stage play, Safe, now led to a podcast, and now, I'm thinking of like making an animated series, and maybe even like a TV show. So hell, that guy's gonna come back. So, cause like how we are writing it, we are going way back.
Right.
Way back before even all that stuff. So it's fun. But one thing again that, stands out, it's like, you always do this thing where whenever you shop, you give everybody a gift. Why? Like, it's like...
I don't think I always do
always,
that.
like, even if it's fucking chocolates, right? Like, every time. I remember, because, like, the very first of the shoot, Drown the Lovers, there's, like, 60 people. And, like, you were just giving everyone, like, those chocolates. And, like, who is this? Why? And, like, today, you're giving everybody gifts, too. It's, like, is that...
It's okay. Well, I mean, I think, well, I don't do anything that I do alone. It's a group effort. When I'm up on the screen, there is, depending on the production, innumerable amount of people that are behind the scenes making me look good, making me sound good, making sure I don't fuck up. And without them, I wouldn't be where I am. So again, it's an acknowledgement for me personally to be able to thank the people that do that for me. and again, that we create together, and nobody does it on their own. Despite there are a lot of people that think they do. I got here on my own. It's like, I'm pretty sure somebody helped you along the way, regardless of how little they did. Whether it was even a phrase, just like you get to where you are because we work together, and that's something that I think is a message, is a lesson. Not to get preachy, but that we got to remind ourselves of. It's we succeed together. We don't do it on our own.
Yeah.
So
reminds me of something my grandma always says, like, we're all here to take care of each other. But on the other hand, you find it difficult receiving anything. Any fucking thing. I remember, like, so Drown the Lovers happened. We won all those awards, played at all these festivals. Right. And then you had to fly back to Vancouver because you were shooting this show. And then, like, I think you came to Halifax for just a quick visit to see your parents and stuff.
Yes.
I was like, I'm in the city. I'm like, let's go. Like, let's do something. I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's go to dinner. And then you get there. And then you want to pay the check. I'm like, the fuck is... what is wrong with this person? You find it difficult receiving, but you're like always giving stuff.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say. I thank you for thinking of me that way. It's also a cultural thing. I mean, like we in Persian culture we have this thing, and if any Persians actually hear this, they'll know. It's called tarof. So it's kind of ridiculous, or it can be, depending on if you get like really people who are embedded in the culture, because it's like you offer something once, and it's always in Persian culture. If you're from that old school way of thinking, it's always polite to say no the first time, regardless of how much you want it. You say no.
You always say no?
Yeah. If you're starving and somebody offers you food, it's like, oh no, I couldn't. It's considered polite. And then it's on, the impetus is on the host. No. Are you sure? And then the second time you can say yes.
Okay.
But if they're really crazy, they say no the second time.
What the fuck?
And then you offer a third and final time. If they say no the third time, then we're done.
Oh, okay,
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Because now this led me to, and this is something really personal, because, so, you're back in Vancouver.
Right.
We had the dinner, it was great. And, you go back to work. And then something came up on Facebook, and it was a GoFundMe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to talk about it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so it was a GoFundMe, and, like, you had cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like, kind of evoking or comparing, but it's kind of like what happened with the Black Panther guy, because you were actually going through it while we're making Drown the Lovers, and you're making me throw you water over and over again, and, like, I'm like, you never brought it up, because you had cancer while we're shooting Drown the Lovers, and like when I read that, I was, it was Pasha, come on.
You know what? And I'm not saying this to win points with anyone. Like, honestly, like, you brought up Chadwick Boseman, and that guy, man, what a loss.
He was dealing with this thing for years and years, and was doing this really, really hectic.
Just no comparison. That man is like I very much look up to him. Like, and he's dearly missed.
Yeah,
I'm sure
definitely.
by his family, obviously.
Definitely.
But even with somebody, who never knew him, only through his work, it's just it's a terrible loss.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And you know what? I mean, it could have been you, really,
It's, I mean, life tends to do what it does, and how we react to it is really all we can do. It makes us who we are. So, I didn't really have any choice in the matter. It's sometimes you get thrown a curveball and you deal with it the best that you can, what your abilities are at that given point in time. I really tried to keep it private. And unfortunately, I'm a working actor, so it's I didn't have I had savings to fall back on, and I did, and the cancer started kicking my ass a little bit. I did one surgery, and we thought we had it, but it had spread already. So I had to go into aggressive chemotherapy. And I remember, this is funny, and this is a shout out to Dr. Coleman'sberger, who is a fantastic oncologist. Hopefully you never meet him, but he is great, and I remember him telling me, I was having my consultation with him. I remember him telling me that it's like you're a young, fit guy, and he's like, so we're going to give you the highest possible dosage that we can without basically killing you.
Yeah.
I was like, great. That's and yeah, so that was fun. Again, if anybody's thinking of trying it out, I don't recommend it. Stay away from it. It's not great. The chemotherapy really kicked my ass. I lost all my hair. I lost my beard. I've always been a hairy dude, so I look like Mr. Clean. No word of a lie.
All you need
didn't
to
have the
wear is a white
eyebrows.
outfit.
Didn't have the eyebrows either. It was all gone. And now that my hair's come back, it's come back straight. It used to be curly. Really weird, Israel. Really weird. But I mean, given the alternative, hey, I'll take the straight hair and I'll shut the fuck up. I know, like, whoever's dealing with it right now out there, if you are listening, you have nothing but my empathy, and I wish you the best, and I wish there was something that I could do. I have a friend who is in cancer research, and like I speak to him. He's he's in California. He's in the forefront of his field, and I kind of reach out to him, and like anything I can do, like who should I, like, if I donate, who should I donate to, things like that. And it's there are a lot of people working on it, but unfortunately, in the meantime, those of us that get it have to deal with it the best we can, with the best of our abilities, and with the support structure that we have.
Yeah, and the support structure. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this GoFundMe. It came up.
Yeah.
It came up, and they had a set amount, but it doubled in like a day. And I guess that's just testament to who you are as a person, right? Because I'm not saying, again, competition or whatever, but like everyone that has done something with you, like put in, everyone that has been even in like proximity of like not even working directly, but and we it was happy to kind of go on that page, and it was like, oh, you're in remission, and that it was great news.
It's it's a testament to the people that came out of the woodwork to help me out, and I didn't get a chance to thank all of them. So I'll take this opportunity to say thank you for donating whatever you could at the time. It really helped me out, and really took the financial stress of that time away, when I was already dealing with the chemo and everything else, and trying to be strong for my family and my partner. So thank you sincerely. If you ever need anything, hit me up.
Okay, here's one. Is it Taruf? Is that what it's called?
Taruf, yeah.
Taruf?
Yeah, that was pretty good, actually.
Taruf, was that what happened with the GoFundMe? Because like it took I later found out that it took forever for you to say yes to the GoFundMe, which was really essential.
Yes. No, it wasn't Taruf. It was.
Okay.
It did take me forever to say yes to it, because as much as I said we don't do anything alone. I didn't want anyone else to be saddled with my burden. And I've always been the type of person, I'd like to think I've always been the type of person who is like, it's the last possible minute. It's like, if I can do this, then I'll do it. And my friends and my partner kind of wore me down and told me I was being an idiot. And I thank them, Megan, Mike, Danny, and oddly enough, an actor who I just met, who came out of the woodwork and kind of campaigned on his Instagram and all of that, Luke Baines. He's a wonderful young actor. He's in California. He's going to be on the second season of The Mandalorian.
Nice.
He hasn't been on any of the episodes that have aired, in case you look for him. But upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
He and I worked on Shadowhunters, and he was
Shadowhunters. That's the show you were in Vancouver.
That was actually filming out of Toronto. That's why that's why I got a
Oh
little bit
yes,
lost
you were in
there.
Toronto, but you had to go to
Yeah.
Vancouver to see your partner before you could come to Halifax.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shadowhunters. Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah, what does Luke
thanks
do?
to Luke as well. Luke's a wonderful actor, and he's a pretty solid human being. He works for humanitarian causes as well. Unfortunately, I can't say which specific ones at the moment. But if he listens to this as well, thank you, Luke. You're a great guy, and I love you, buddy.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay, so that was heavy. but really, thank you for showing up for Drown the Lovers. Even
not at all.
while you were dealing. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say one other person I should thank off the get-go for that is Tom Fitzgerald, who's a local director here, and he kind of got the ball rolling on the whole campaign. And I at that point I was still very hesitant, and as I'm sure he's told me more than once, he told me I was being an idiot. So yeah.
Wait, didn't you do Jesus, like the religious thing, right? Like that was you shot the religious thing for him, like the confessional.
Oh yes, yeah,
you were
yeah.
a priest. Were you the priest?
With my good friend Mike McLeod.
Yeah.
He's, no, forgive me.
Forgive me. Yeah.
Mike did a fucking fantastic job with that series.
Okay, so let's talk about your T-shirt.
Yes, I'm actually wearing a Africville T-shirt, which Juanita was kind enough to gift to me after we worked together on 837. And it's something that's very obviously near and dear to her heart and her family history and the culture that is prevalent here. And I'm honored to be wearing it and to actually be able to endorse it. She's working on a campaign. Basically, I have this little book here. It's called In the Africville Kitchen. Which, if you're looking for a cookbook, any last-minute Christmas gift ideas, all proceeds from the sales of the cookbook go towards the Africville Scholarship Fund.
Oh.
Yeah. So
wow.
it's all proceeds. None of it is diluted, and it goes towards people who are descendants of Africville and who are going into post-secondary education, whether it's college, university. It goes towards helping them, pay their tuition fees.
That is awesome.
As we all know.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
What can you share about Rebirth?
I see. I'm a guy who hates spoilers, so I really I thank you for agreeing with me. I can't stand people who are just like, and then the thing at the end. That came out of nowhere. I didn't see that coming. It's like, well, now I'll know it's coming. Thank you for that so much. Just like, seriously. I mean, there's a statute of limitations. Right? If you still haven't seen The Godfather, like, Depending on how old you are. I mean, if you're a 10-year-old, give it a couple of years there. But yeah, it's there's a statute of limitations. But with Rebirth, it's a very human story. And a project that we really wanted to showcase. And I don't think we make a huge deal of it because it's everyday Canadian living. There are different people from different cultures within the characters. Juanita is the director, which is fantastic because not only are you getting her perspective behind the camera and her touch, unique to who she is as a person and as a filmmaker. But then in front of the camera, you're dealing with characters who are, like myself, of a varied background. And it's not essential to the story. It's who they are. There's no big deal that so-and-so is from a different culture and this character is from another culture. It's just they happen to be who they are, and they are within this very much what we have, the Canadian landscape. As far as the plot goes, it revolves around an event which happens very early on in the film and is centered around 3 people's lives who are touched by this event irrevocably. Oh my God, irrevocably. There we go. Almost lost that word. But yeah, and their trajectories in life change because of it. And years later, they cross paths again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And what made you decide to play this one?
This is actually something that I've been involved with in one capacity or another since its inception.
Oh.
Joe Leclerc is one of the writers, Hank White, and Juanita as well worked as a writer on the script at various points. Joe was the original concept and did the original writing on it. So he was kind enough to think of me for the role when he created it, and it's gone through various different stages and iterations. But Joe was always was like, "Well, I want you to play this character." And I remember, taking a look at the first draft years ago, almost, I don't know how long it's been now, over 5 years, and thinking, yeah, it's a very interesting character, very interesting story.
As an actor, though, especially when you get behind the scene, there are kind of 2 sides where this is the script, come audition, it's ready to go, versus you're there at the inception and, you're almost like kind of above the line where you kind of see this thing build. How do you keep that patience? Because you have to be patient, right? People think a film happens yesterday, but it's like, oh man, this thing happened like. How do you build
especially when you care about the project? It's one thing if it's like, we have this project, it's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do it, and then you don't have access to the script, you're not talking to the writer. It's it's in the back. It's like, okay, yeah, that might be a potential project that I'm going to work on. But when you do have access to the script and you are talking to the writer, you are talking to the directors, and you're going through basically what they're going through, which is, we really want to get this made. We're having trouble with funding. We're having trouble with this. COVID happens. It's it is very frustrating and it's disheartening because I remember when we were originally going to shoot this in March, and
COVID started.
Yeah, yeah, and I had done a lot of work, and I was it was the night before we were supposed to start our first day of
God
filming.
damn it.
And I got a call from Doug Pettigrew, our producer, and he did the heavy kind of sigh, and he's like, well, yeah, I think you know why I'm calling. And I was like,
yeah.
it's you have all that nervous energy building up. You're like, I gotta get up at 5 a.m, get on set, and it's a big role and emotional, and all of a sudden it's gone, and all that energy is just, there's no place to put it. I know it sounds weird to people who are not actors, and it's like a little woodgy, but it is a thing. Yeah. It was devastating because, like I said, the role is important to me, and I hope that comes across in the performance, and I hope that this character also deals with a form of PTSD, and he has trauma in his life, and it's also an issue of mental health. I don't know what that says about me, that I seem to play a lot of these characters.
Well, you went to the French Legion, Pasha. You went to the French Legion. I'm never gonna let you leave this down. I'm sorry. Like, who decides to do this? You, clearly.
18-year-old me. Yeah.
Okay, so Rebirth has been wrapped, right?
Yes, yeah. Last Sunday, actually.
So, but before talking about the wrap, let's talk about the shooting. How was it like shooting a film during COVID?
It's different. I mean, and we, John and I were discussing this while I was in the waiting room before we started. I feel very fortunate, first and foremost, to be able to be working in my chosen profession during this time. Not everyone is as fortunate, and I'm gonna touch my head again. It's a weird Persian thing. It's knock wood, touch wood, but you touch your head. Again, first and foremost, I feel very fortunate. So it's been good that way. It is different being on a film set. Everyone is very safety conscious. Everything is very different. Things take longer because you have to be safe. And this isn't just for the people on the set. It's for the families that all these people have, that they go home to. And it's one of those things. It's like, film culture has, especially when it comes to actors, it has a reputation of, these people party a lot and all this stuff. It's like, yeah. When we're not working 14, 16-hour days, that's... Yeah. There are a lot of hard workers in this profession, and that's a credit to them. But, that's the thing. It's like, you don't want to take that, like, you don't want to risk going out and being frivolous and then take that to a set where, we had a child actor as well. So it's... you have to be very safety conscious, and it's been different. We got tested when I was in productions in Vancouver.
Like, do they jab your nose in that?
Well, here's the thing. Say you're on a big studio production. The big studio productions have very fancy tests. It's like, we're just gonna go, and they're still very apologetic about it. And it's just basically like somebody's just taking a Q-tip at the bottom of your nostril. It's then you go to productions that are less fortunate with how much funding that they received. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're just gonna stab your brain. You may lose some of the lines you've already learned, so after we stab your brain, go home, review your script before you show up on set, because I might scrape some of that off of there. I remember the first time I got one of those tests, I actually had to physically restrain myself. So I really wanted to punch the person, and I'm like, no, they're doing their job. They're not trying to kill you. Because that's what it kind of felt like. It was like, I mean, and it depends on the healthcare professional that you get. I mean, I feel like that person was a little sadistic. No, I'm teasing. What,
did you have to have tests every day, or?
It was it depends on it's different for each production because there's no set.
Yeah.
There was a production in Vancouver that had 3 tests a week.
Holy shit.
Whether you were on set or not, you come in for your test.
God damn.
You're still getting paid for that time.
Right.
So sure, like again, it's like, okay, put a Q-tip in my nose. Thank you. And then you're like,
yeah.
But again, it's for safety reasons. With 837, we were doing tests twice a week. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a 2-week production, so it's not like
yeah. So, like 837 is done. I mean, but then obviously there's a lot of post production work to go. Do you have anything lined up? You're working on, or is it just break for a while?
Well, I actually turned down a role back in Vancouver because I had to be back there on the 14th. For it, and I kind of talked to the agent. And I was like, well, is it a guaranteed number of days that I'm going to be filming? Is it worthwhile? Because my mother's birthday is on the 15th.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously it's the holidays and family's here. My parents are here and they're older. It's like, and then I'd be back in Vancouver. And then she came back with they're only guaranteeing 1 day. Oh. So it's one of those things where it's like I hate saying no to work. It makes me feel sick when personally. But at the same time, it's just like, well, I want to be here for my mom's birthday, and I want to be here for my family.
Yeah,
and especially given the the climate with
really
COVID
everything. Really, yeah. Family's super important.
Yeah. But I do have things on the burner. It's just nothing I can actually say anything about because I'm industry
You've signed
term.
one of those things.
No, not even that. It's an industry term. I've been pinned for things, which means basically, you know what it means. Okay. So yeah, so it's nothing. It's not real. So until it becomes real.
Yeah. But like when you're pinned, it's like kind of 80% though.
Yeah, unless it goes to some higher up producer and they're like, this guy, he looks like some asshole who once cheated me at cards. I lost a role once because of that.
Oh my God, producers are dicks. That's true.
Wait, weren't you the producer?
No, I directed it. Like I'm lucky because.
Wait, so you're calling Monica?
Yeah, well, you know what? Like I'm lucky that I get my wife to produce stuff. Like,
oh, that's a good relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also understand that. Like it's a role that comes with a lot of headaches, right? Because
absolutely,
like everyone sees the director as like, oh man, that guy is cool, but he's cool because of everything the producer has done, right? But then every ever so often, like you meet a producer that is just a fucking dick.
Yeah, it's like, but it's the same thing with actors. I mean, I joke about how I like crew more than I like actors. In general, they're decent, hardworking human beings. All my actor friends are cursing me out right now. But no, again, it goes back to what I was saying. It's a team effort. So it becomes an issue when we all have specific roles.
Yeah.
I don't go over and tell the lighting guy how to do his job.
Yeah.
It's just like, you don't do
What's that guy that was like, you don't cross my line? Batman told that guy you can't cross. Like, did you hear this?
Yes.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah. Well, like, if you're in a deep, I'm not saying what he did was okay. Maybe it was a little much. But if, you're in a scene and it's a deeply emotional scene.
Yeah.
And filming, they can't use that shot because there's a shadow comes over his face. It's and it's in the middle of a take.
Yeah,
it's upsetting. It's upsetting when you're, and some actors, they need to work up to get that emotional.
Right. And then you kind of learn as a crew, you kind of look away when they're fucking doing their thing. It's like, it's simple. I understood where it came from, but it was really funny to listen to. Yeah. Have you listened to this thing? Yeah.
No, and again, you and I have worked together. I'm a pretty chill guy. Like, accidents happen on set.
Right.
Like, I've done stupid stuff. It's like, drop something during a take and it's like, that was really loud. Where it was like a pencil on the ground, but still it feels like, when it's a silent room. It's accidents happen. And it's just, laugh it off. It's like, unless it was like $1 million shot.
Oh boy.
Then maybe we can't laugh that off. Maybe we're fired.
Oh man, Pasha, I'm having such a good time.
Oh, good man. So am I. Thank you again for having me.
So now Rebirth is done. It's just time spending with the family. Are you like gonna jump back to Vancouver like right after the holidays, or?
More than likely. Right now, things aside from that one show that is still filming, things are somewhat slow in Vancouver. Generally, when the holidays happen, the film industry slows down anyway. Right now, everything's up kind of in a weird place with COVID, and production's kind of trying to get things done within a timely fashion. A lot of stateside productions are coming up to Canada. There's talk of Netflix opening a studio in Vancouver.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So
holy shit, Netflix has like money, man. Like they just throw money at anything. Like throw money my way, man. I have pretty decent ideas. I go through Netflix and like, how are they greenlighting these shows, man? It's like we're just gonna bombard you.
Well, and I agree with you, but at the same time, it's really nice to see a company just being like, yeah,
fucking we'll do it.
What's your idea? Talking cans. Okay, sure. 3 episodes. It's 3 episodes.
Like they throw money out. But every once in a while they have they have really good shows, I gotta say. They have some nice shows. But man, some of those shows, man. And now they're doing movies too. And like they're just giving Ryan Reynolds money to make whatever.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a wonderful human being.
He's amazing. Did you know this initiative he did, just like where he's kind of hiring all these interns in Canada to like come work on whatever film is working on?
Yeah. I auditioned for that.
Oh.
He didn't hire me. But that being said, I don't, I'm not like, you can't quite place where I'm from, and depending on like what's going on with the facial hair and stuff like that. I think it's like, why is this white dude kind of trying to take advantage of this? I'm trying to give roles out to people who are like,
but like your name is pretty like,
oh yeah,
like I mean your name is not white at all.
No,
unless a white person decides to call himself Pasha.
But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's funny because it's like after you don't get a role like that, it's like, did I do a shit audition, or was it because I looked a certain way, and like I didn't fit the profile? It's probably because I did the shit audition, to be perfectly honest. I was like, and it's not like he's sitting there going, he's a very busy man. He's got more important things to do.
Guess. But like, I mean, on the other hand, they are producing things in Canada. Like, are you ever gonna produce something now? Because like, you don't give a fuck about that. You just wanna like.
I would love to. I have to be better with money. To every producer's credit out there, you need to have money first of all, and you need to be able to invest it properly. No, but I would love to do that. I would love to also be able to direct, but my passion is acting.
I think you'd suck as a director though. You'd be like, no, this is what the fuck you're supposed to do. I want you to
It's true. I don't have much patience. I'm not a very good teacher, so I don't know.
Be like, oh man, fuck off! I'm gonna except you're directing yourself. Then, but that would be funny though. It'd be funny to see you argue.
No, I don't think I could direct myself. I honestly don't think I could because
Yeah.
It's the same thing as doing self tapes. I have to get somebody else that I trust their opinion to watch them, and because otherwise I'm like, yeah, that's really good. It's like you're hamming it up.
Oh God. How long have we been talking?
A while, I think.
1:15.
Okay.
Wow. Are we breaking any records?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna round up. So yeah, we talked about the cookbook.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm really grateful for pretty much everything you've done. So thanks for actually spending some time. But like I'm writing something, of course I want you in it. so I'm gonna send you that script, you know, and hopefully you say yes.
I will always read your scripts, and I will always be honest with you. So
that is, you know what? That is actually the other thing, because like there were lines with changing Drown the Lovers, and it made sense to change that.
Right.
I hate when like that's why I surround myself with people that are not afraid to tell me, oh, that shit sucks. Like once I can tell this person can't tell me my shit sucks.
Right.
I find it difficult sharing shit with you, so that is always great. Like all my people, like I call them my Avengers, they'll be like, okay, that shit sucks. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it sucks. So it's always great to have that. And like, thanks, because it made the script better. It made the story better. That kiss at the end, you guys came up with it. It wasn't in the book. It wasn't in the script. No, it wasn't in the script.
I forgot about
It wasn't in the script, and you guys like, it doesn't, like, these people have been on this fucking journey, and they've they have accepted their fate. This is kind of their last act of resistance. It's like, it just, man, that film is so fucking complete. I love it. I watch it at least once a week. Like, you know, when I apply for something I don't get, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'll watch that shit again. Okay. Oh man, I'm just having fun. It's really fun to talk. What's that word again? Taruf?
Taruf, yeah.
I'm gonna try that. But like, man, I don't know how to say no. I just say yes. Yeah, I'll take it. It's gonna be so hard to say.
Well, that's the danger. That's the thing. It's like, especially if you get a person who doesn't do Taruf. Like, would you like this? No? All right.
Oh
like,
man.
but I really wanted it. You were supposed to offer it again. Yeah.
Oh man, Pasha, I'm having such a great time. Thank you so
man.
much for coming on the podcast and hang out.
My pleasure.
And thank you for everything. And yeah, man.
Thank you for having me. And again, if you're curious about getting a last minute gift, in the Africville kitchen. It's going towards a great cause, the scholarship fund. So, yeah, I wish there was more good stuff I could share with you guys today. But you know, I think that's one important thing.
It's really important.
I can do. No.
Thank you so much, Pasha.
No, thank you, Israel. Really, thank you, and thank you guys behind the scenes, as always, making us look good.
Yeah.
And sound good.
Yeah, no, really, they do. I couldn't do anything without this guy, Justin, John. They make me look amazing. I just sit down here like I know what I'm doing. I'm like, fuck all. I don't.
You and me both.
Thank you so much, Pasha.
Thank you, Israel.